would be able to, cleverly decipher whether it's a cyclical problem or a structural problem, and accordingly take astute decisions. And for any industry, why just printers industry, for every industry, for a lender, it's extremely important to understand the psyche of the entrepreneur, of the organization, how robust are their risk management practices, how robust is their business decision model. I mean, to take a case of point, those days I wasn't giving very strong advice, but retail, organized retail in India, everyone's plans of sales, I mean, I shudder to think what kind of percentage growth every organized retail in India would have given to expand the way they did without thinking, much too much. The kind of chains that they were, and look what happened. They were closing down the shops, they were closing down the malls, because nobody thought party would end. This happened globally, this happened in India. Nobody thought, oh, they're too big to fail, they are very good at managing risks, and Mr. Greenspan said that. But what happened? They were completely caught unaware as to this is my origination of risk, and the risk has got so distributed long in chain that you don't know ultimately who's bearing the risk. The higher degree of sophistication of financial products also have that risk. So it's extremely important as a lender for me to understand how well the business understands his own business, and so on. So,
just as an infrastructure, the payback period is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The Iqbal is saying that why can't printing business, whether you're investing in very heavy equipment, which is supposed to last 10 years at least, can't the period of payment, payback be 5, 7?
I'll take that recommendation to my business guys, and they can definitely assess the situation. No two ways about it.
You have given a lot of hope by saying that the Q3 results are promising and it's looking up. Now, only thing that I want to add to that euphoria is, how do you feel that the Q3 results are not sporadic and the trend will continue? Is there any indications?
To just qualify what I said, when I talked of improvement in Q3, it was not based on earnings. It was not based on Q3 corporate results. It was more on the top line growth, the sales growth. In earnings, what happens in the first quarters of stress, the corporates may want to boost and show a higher earnings by, getting all your sources of other incomes and extraordinary incomes on board. So you show your earnings to remain robust. But at some point in time, the basic fundamentals will start reflecting maybe after 3 or 4 quarters. What else can you show as extraordinary income? So then the true results start showing. So I'm not even indicating that things are improving based on the corporate earnings. I'm not. I'm looking at demand conditions. Are people buying more cell phones? Are people buying more cars? Are people, has the consumer got the confidence to spend more on credit cards because he's secure about his earnings, about his revenue, income? So these are the kind of ground level indicators that we look at. Earnings can camouflage, at least for a few quarters maybe, some of the underlying concerns that we may have on growth.
Ma'am, one question.
No, please, we won't be able to finish.
One question, being economist.
I'll be brief in my answer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. In spite of the fiscal deficit being bad, it's gone overboard. In spite of the inflation being high, in spite of not so strong earnings by the corporate, we see a lot of money being poured into India in the stock market. Now, why is that so? What is it that they are feeling good about us or the Indian economy, point one? And is it the larger picture or is it a short-term? That would all.
A valid question. I'll be quite brief in my response. One, there is huge amount of global liquidity flowing in the system. You have seen Federal Reserve, Bank of Japan, ECB, European Central Bank, pumping in unprecedented amount of liquidity to revive their own respective economies. But in a fungible financial world, in a globally integrated world, flows will try and seek returns. The liquidity will flow to regions, to assets to seek returns. When I say assets, there could be assets like commodities, oil, gold, whatever you may have, other metals. You may have bonds, like US bonds, Euro bonds, nobody would want to touch, but US bonds or other, government bonds of other emerging economies. Or you may have equities, okay, to go, allow your liquidity to get into. What is the growth condition across the globe? US will grow at 2%. Their corporate earnings are therefore going to show a weaker earnings growth. Eurozone, we are looking, staring at a recession in 2030. Okay, earnings are not going to be strong. India, we benchmark against our own growth record. We were growing at 8 to 9% in the best of the years, but today we are growing at 5.5%. Maybe for the full year we will grow at close to 6%. The fact is, we are still growing. The fact is, corporate earnings are being still topped off in double digits. Okay, that is where the liquidity gets attracted to. There is some return on their investment. So, while gold and US bonds would still remain in reverse order, will still remain the preferred ports of destination of liquidity to go in, but every bit of liquidity can't go into a market where it creates an overbought situation. So liquidity will get into equities of Indian companies as well. That's what we have seen. You saw huge unprecedented portfolio flows coming into India. That's precisely because, one, there's unprecedented amount of money floating around in the global financial world, and two, all said, India is still growing at 6%. I would think that as, well, I don't think short term how does one define, but if I'm looking at short term over the next 2-3 years, I think we do not really need to risk too much in terms of global liquidity just going on, okay? But more importantly, hopefully in 2-3 years, our domestic macros will improve in terms of lower inflation, higher growth prospects. So then the liquidity flows will start chasing the growth story and not the safe haven story. So to me, India is always going to remain a growth story as far as liquidity flows into the country are concerned.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Please stay on stage. That was wonderful. The best thing you could have done was not to have a PPT and trouble us with all the Hajar numbers. Thank you so much. Brilliant. And I would request our Secretary, Vishwanath Shetty, to please come on stage and give Dr. Rao a small token of appreciation from our side. Big round of applause for Dr. Rao.